CD Projekt Red has reminded The Witcher fans that you have just one day left to nab a stellar free game. I'm guessing you'll likely have completed The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt umpteen times. But have you ever tried Thronebreaker? The Witcher Tales? Originally launched in 2018, this RPG acts as a spin-off to the main series. Featuring a roughly 30-hour-long main campaign, players will assume the role of Queen Meve, the ruler of Lyria and Rivia, as they journey back in time to before the events of the original The Witcher game. Thronebreaker is a single-player role-playing game set in the world of The Witcher that combines narrative-driven exploration with unique puzzles and card battle mechanics, teases the synopsis. Crafted by the developers responsible for some of the most iconic moments in The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, the game spins a truly regal tale of Meve, a war veteran and queen of two northern realms, Lyria and Rivia. Facing an imminent Nilfgaardian invasion, Meve is forced to once again enter the warpath and set out on a dark journey of destruction and revenge. Thronebreaker has great replayability as there are 20 possible world end states, so you'll definitely be able to influence the story via your actions. Naturally, there's also a great new cast of characters for players to meet that you'll fall in love with just as you adore Geralt, Ciri, and Yen. Upon launch, the game scored a very respectable 85 over on Metacritic, and as I said, you can nab Thronebreaker totally for free. The only catches are that this offer applies to PC only, and you need to be an Amazon Prime subscriber. Thronebreaker. The Witcher Tales has been available to download via Prime Gaming for some time, but it'll finally expire tomorrow, on October 23rd. If you want to pick up the game, it's imperative that you act now. There are plenty of other great freebies also available on Prime Gaming, from Killing Floor 2 to BioShock Remastered, so do have a peruse. The Witcher 4 teaser roasted by frustrated fans. The Witcher 4 has reportedly been in the early stages of development for a while, though some fans are disappointed with its progress. That being said, we haven't seen any of that progress. All we know is that the majority of CD Projekt Red's workforce is now working on the next Witcher game. It's got pretty big shoes to fill as well, as The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, is arguably one of the greatest games ever made. With so little actually known about the game, it's understandable that fans would like some answers on its development, plot details, and planned release date. Unfortunately, we're not due any of those for a while, and a small number of fans are already growing impatient. On a Reddit thread, it was speculated that since The Witcher 4 is still in the early stages of development, the earliest possible release date will likely be somewhere around 2030. 15 years for a sequel, damn. Game development nowadays is just ridiculously long, said one fan, and another added that they can't wait to play it on PS6, which in all seriousness could be one of the consoles that supports the game on launch. Most were understanding of the wait, though. And for those that aren't, there is no greater reminder of what happens when CD Projekt Red is rushed than Cyberpunk 2077. Fortunately, Cyberpunk 2077 is a fantastic game, now following all the post-launch support and Phantom Liberty DLC, but I don't think any of us will forget the abysmal launch period anytime soon. The Witcher 4 definitely needs ample time to cook, even if it's a series that CD Projekt Red has plenty of experience in by now. Before The Witcher 4, though, there's a good chance we'll see the remake of the first Witcher game, which should hopefully tide us over until the next big release. The Witcher 4 update leaves fans feeling extremely happy. The Witcher 4 has received a development update hinting at the game's release date, though it's not going to be for a very long time if this is anything to go off. Now that CD Projekt Red has put those dark hours of Cyberpunk 2077 behind it, no shade to the game intended, it turned out great in the end. It can finally move on to the next Witcher game. Presumably called The Witcher 4, the next game in the series is believed to be continuing the story of Ciri, as Geralt deserves a rest after a trilogy of fighting and survival. Of course, no one knows if this is actually the case, as Geralt could return in some capacity, or some new heroes will rise instead. Which is the better outcome is your preference, though personally I'm hoping Ciri finally gets the full game they deserve. Now, according to CD Projekt Red itself, the next Witcher game has made substantial progress, which is great news, but doesn't do much to confirm a release window. Not that we want them to rush development. It's said the game will soon reach full production phase, as most of the staff who were working on Cyberpunk 2077 and its DLC have since moved on to the new Witcher title. Fans in a Reddit thread shared both excitement for the upcoming project as well as caution. After all, there's no point getting too excited just yet when the game is still presumably a world away. One fan joked that we'll probably get Witcher 4 before ES6 at this point, which would be hilarious if true. It was speculated that if it enters full production soon, a 2027 premiere could be the likely scenario, but again, that's just speculation. Whenever the game drops, let's just hope it's a banger and worthy successor to The Witcher 3. Wild Hunt. No one wants a repeat of Cyberpunk 2077's launch. The Witcher fans fall in love with heartwarming new release. Video game media can be a bit of a hell's cape sometimes. News of mass redundancies, debates over culture war nonsense, and huge invasive data leaks seem to be the norm these days. It can all get a little bit tiring sometimes. Every day I wake up and think, what new awful thing has happened while I was asleep this time? Once in a blue moon, though, something wholesome and sweet happens. And thankfully, courtesy of CD Projekt Red, today is that day. Happy Monday, everyone. Start your week off right by having a gander at the cutest bit of Witcher-related media I've ever seen in my life. The Little Witcher is a fully illustrated children's book, written by the creative minds behind the Witcher video games and illustrated by Giada Carboni, whose art style you may recognize from some of the cutest pieces of Witcher fan art to ever grace the web. Cattle Country is another upcoming project that'll warm your cockles, blending the world of Red Dead and Stardew Valley. The book was announced by CD Projekt Red on the official The Witcher Twitter account and is set to be published by Penguin Random House on the May 13th next year. According to the description on the Penguin Random House site, Ciri and Geralt aren't the only Witcher-related characters that'll show up in the story either. With help from Geralt and Ciri's closest companions, including the motherly magic of Yennefer of Vengerberg and the wisdom of Uncle Vesemir. These adorable tales of a non-traditional family will make you laugh, make you sigh, and make you realize that raising a little Witcher is not that different from raising any other kid. It's not entirely lost on me that it's pretty funny CD Projekt Red has opted to turn one of the horniest and often most depressing series of games into an adorable little children's book, but I can't argue with the end result.